What if I just lived with uncertainty instead of trying to master love and understand it? What if I just lived? What if I just lived love? It's okay, buddy. You don't have to try so hard to be loved. Choose people who choose you. You have a beautiful heart, and you deserve for it to be held with tenderness. I'm sorry that it's been so hard for so long. You are loved and held already. Please be gentle with yourself. Your path is your own, and it's a beautiful one. I love you always. This was a letter that I wrote to myself from the perspective of love. Right? This is love telling me what I need to hear. And the reality is that I do try hard. I have tried very hard to love and to be loved. And I spoke with a new therapist recently, and I asked her, why am I doing this? The love drive, 10 years of talking about love. And she goes, because you're trying to master it, and you're trying to understand something that is hard for you to understand. The prompt of write yourself a letter from the perspective of love was given to me by Kristen during our retreat, which is Love Camp. And during the retreat, I asked people, how many of you had positive, loving role models growing up? And out of 25 participants, one raised her hand. We can extrapolate that a few of us had truly loving role models growing up. And those that did, my God, what a gift. What a true gift. A lot of us didn't, and we don't get relationship education. We're not taught how to love. We're shown how to love. We learn it from the people in our lives, and we are basically learning on each other. And sometimes we mess up, and sometimes we step on people's toes, and sometimes we hurt others in the process. So we're all in this big, huge experimental school of love, including myself. I'm trying to master it. I'm trying to understand it because for me, it's been complicated. So I have a question for you today from a caller, Sarah.
Hi, Sean. My name is Sarah. I am 41 years old, and I live in British Columbia, Canada. I love your show so much, first of all. And my question is with regards to love. I was in a relationship for a long time, 10 plus years, and it wasn't a very good one. We told each other we loved each other all the time, and I left him about a year ago. I'm just so confused now as to what love even is, and I'm with a guy now who tells me he loves me all the time, but I've never said it back because I'm just so confused. I know this may come with time, and yes, I'm doing a lot of counseling just to sort through all this stuff, but I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on that. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for your question. Yeah, what is love? Just an easy layup on a Thursday morning. I don't know. I was listening to the Michael Singer podcast. He's the author of The Untethered Soul and also philosopher and Buddhist meditator, meditation instructor. And he said that love is energy flowing through the heart. I feel like most of us need a little bit more than that. And the fact that you were in a relationship for 10 years that wasn't that great, and yet you said you loved each other would be confusing. That would be confusing. I'm wondering if this wouldn't be a great opportunity for you to tell this new person, hey, it feels good to hear that you love me. I want to say it back, and here's why I have it. Because for me, it's kind of confusing. I'm not really sure what love is. I'd kind of love to know what you think love is or how you understand it. That can be a really beautiful experience. We could all benefit from asking our loved ones, what is love to you? And I have an email that I want to read to you from a listener and a friend, Kathy, about what is love. And I think it's a beautiful one. I think it's difficult to say what love is exactly because it intercepts intimacy and attachment. But below is my ramble about what love means to me. I would describe love as something constant that keeps us connected to a person. For me, it looks like best friends from high school who I talk to maybe once a month and only manage to see when there's a funeral back home. I know so little about their day-to-day lives, but if they needed me, I would be there any way I could. Love also looks like showing up for school concerts that don't really interest me, but my kid is performing, and so I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Love looks like listening to a friend tell me everything that is wrong in her life and checking in on her later to hear how she's doing because I genuinely care. Love also looks like a parent who's passed away, and the love continues, and the missing is what's left to remind me that love was there and still is. And finally, love looks like how you're doing matters to me, but I don't actually want to spend any time with you because you have hurt me too much. Love is boring. It's really in the mundane, making toast and drinking coffee, taking the car in for an oil change so the other person doesn't have to, staying up late waiting for someone to get home so you can connect before sleeping. We're sold a story about love that looks like beautiful, well-dressed people at cool and expensive places doing interesting things and then having mind-blowing sex. But that's not reality. Love looks like real everyday life, but with someone there who cares and enjoys you and vice versa. Love can look like getting a warm, wet washcloth to wipe someone's face when they're sick or listening to someone geek out about something that bores us, but we want to hear about it because that person matters to us. It's serious, hard conversations, moments of playfulness, inside jokes, and shared history, and sometimes mind-blowing sex, and sometimes just sex, and sometimes no sex. It's knowing someone and being known when the mask comes off. And I think the best thing we can do is show up so authentically ourselves. If we show up with a mask of being interesting, cool, funny, put together all the time, that's not real. Yes, we are probably those things, but we are also uncool and boring and have no idea what we're doing. And I think we all need someone more in those times when we are the real us. That was a ramble. If you made it this far, thank you for reading while I was on a tangent. And thank you, Kathy. Not only did I make it this far, but this made it into the podcast. And it's a very sweet testimonial of what love is. It's messy. It's boring. It's in the mundane. It's also reliable. And it feels warm. And it feels like seeing someone who sees us. So, Sarah, I wonder, does this person see you? And do you see them? I hope so. I have 2 quotes I want to share with you. One is my favorite definition of love that I have heard thus far, and it's from M. Scott Peck. I read it in the book, The Road Less Traveled. Love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Love is as love does. Love is an act of will, namely, both an intention and an action. Will also implies choice. We do not have to love, we choose to love. And I think this is a beautiful demonstration of what Kathy described in her email. It's the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. When I read extending oneself, I think getting out of my comfort zone, maybe doing something that I don't necessarily want to do, but that I know is going to make the other person feel better. Love is as love does. It's an action, both an intention and an action. People showing up for each other consistently, being kind, showing up for repair after a rupture, after conflict, trying to be kind. Even though our attachment wounds, our defense mechanisms, our history is going to bubble up, is going to get in the way. We have blocks, we have walls. They're there for a reason, and maybe they don't necessarily serve their purpose anymore. This is our job, right? This is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing your own spiritual growth, is identifying what is blocking you from love. What are the defense mechanisms that you have in place that prevent you from opening your heart? And the thing about opening your heart is that you're opening it to joy, but you also open it to pain. I don't think you can open it to one and not the other. That's the tricky part. And yeah, love can hurt. It can hurt because it touches these parts of us that are raw and that are sometimes very young. They're young parts of us that are tender, that are raw, that need soothing, and they need healing, and they need light and energy and love. And they don't get any of that if we live with a defended heart, if you live with walls around your heart. And this is tricky. This is so tricky because you don't want to open up to someone who's not safe. That's why love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing your own spiritual growth and another's. But this applies to them too. They have to be willing to extend their self for the purpose of your growth. I wrote in my little letter to myself, choose people who choose you, who also show up with reciprocity, who show up reliably, who try to show up undefended, who are able to take ownership for their part, who are willing to sit at the table and repair, even if it's the last thing they want to do, who try to be kind, who try to actively communicate, who attempt to share with you what's going on in their internal world. These are the people we want to build loving relationships with. And not everybody can do all this all the time, because we're humans and we have conditioning and we're trying our best and we're overloaded with life and responsibility and trying to do the right thing or thinking that we're doing the right thing when it's maybe not. M. Scott Peck says we don't have to love, we choose to love. So it's a choice. Rainer Maria Rilke says, be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. Like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue, do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. Be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart and maybe unloved, and try to love the questions themselves. So the question of what is love? What if we just sat with the question rather than needing the answer? What if we exercised patience for all that is unsolved in your heart? And for me, these days, there is a lot that is unsolved in my heart. And so what would it look like for me to not seek answers and to just sit with uncertainty, discomfort, not knowing, pain, insecurity, loneliness? I don't think it's very popular to say, hey, you know what? Sit with your pain, sit with your discomfort, sit with your loneliness, sit with your yearn. We live in a society where when there's a problem, we look for a solution. And what if the solution in this case was to just sit with not knowing? What is love? Where is our partner? Why does this hurt? I'm not saying don't do work. Don't be self-introspective. Don't cultivate awareness around your being, your internal life. But also a lot of it is sort of unexplained until we perhaps gradually, without noticing, live along some distant day into the answer without having to try so hard. We will just live our way into the answer. One day at a time, one loving action at a time, one feeling at a time. Sometimes we're given answers and we're not ready to accept them. We haven't done the work. The ground isn't fertile for us to take in that answer. So what if we just lived with uncertainty? What if I just lived with uncertainty instead of trying to master love and understand it? What if I just lived? What if I just lived love? Live, love, Lexapro. There's a Hawaiian prayer called the Ho'oponopono. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a great prayer when you are struggling for yourself and for others. You could use this for others, but you can also use it for yourself. Actually, before I tell you the prayer, I had a friend recently say, hey, what if every love song was actually just about you instead of it being about somebody else? I like that. We often look outside of ourselves for love, but what if we just looked inside? What if it was there all along? Here's that prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. Have a beautiful week.